Sanbonani Ekurleni and welcome to EkuPodcast. I'm Kilebogile Motlomedi. Today's episode is a very special one. We are talking about alternative burial methods. We all know that burial is a very sacred practice, but what happens when we have limited space or have environmental factors to consider? This is what today's discussion is going to unpack.
Welcome, everybody. So let's just get into it. Maybe just start with the introduction. Let us know which sector you represent.
Good day, everybody. My name is Imran. We represent the Muslim Burial Society.
Morning, everyone. My name is Dinesh Kavanda, and I'm representing the Hindu field of today.
Dumelang nna ke nna mme Maema ke presenta mphaka go tetho.
Sanibonani, mina ngobaba umloko, Bishop umloko, ngimele abafundisi baseDebito.
Sanibonani, the residents of the City of Peace, City of Ikululeni, Bangalaguno, Councillor Leshaka, the member of environment, member of Narrow Committee, responsible for environmental resources and waste management in the City of Ikululeni, of which Parks and Cemetery falls under. Thank you very much.
Sanibonani, my name is Sizo Baba. I'm the manager for Cemeteries and Crematorium under the Department of Waste Resources Management.
Greetings, I'm Tamsa Mahato, representing Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department. Thank you.
Sanibonani, angolise kule, okhulumayo ndonankulu ithi Dlamini, ngibuya ebukhosini bamantonga, representing traditional leaders.
Goeiemorgen, allemaal tegenwoordig. Mijn naam is Adam Adams. Ik vertegenwoordig de begrafenisondernemers lokaal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Everybody's welcome. MMC, I'm going to start with you. Can you just give us an overview of the state of the city as far as burial space is concerned?
Thank you very much, Kilebogile. The city of Ikululeni, Kilebogile, is currently facing some sort of a couple challenges in terms of burial spaces. And it is precisely for that reason that we have seen it important that maybe we need to sit around this particular table and discuss the alternative method that can that you can actually employ in order to maximize the space that you are having. The truth of the matter is that the cemeteries that maybe you and I, when we grew up, we knew them to be the cemeteries that are actually catering for particular residents. They've run out of space. And the city was never sitting idly. They've tried to get other land around so that they can actually open the city. I can make an example. We have a cemetery called Infant Lake, is a regional cemetery. It's fairly a new cemetery as well. But because of the challenges we're speaking about, I'll speak more of the people from the south, Katlehong, Vosloorus and Chobos. You know, Vosloorus, there's no longer burial space there. The people of Katlehong for some time have been using South Park and Thomas and Gobi. And the people of Chobos have been using Krokronflay. But ever since those particular lands or the land here, the other side, they've been filled, and we have challenges of water in Gomflay, phosphorus, and all the Chowaza is full. So now they are being forced to go and utilize the Van Dijk one. And there's quite enough space by the way Van Dijk one in Boxburg. But the manner with which has been utilized, the way everyone is flocking to that side, it tells us that we are going to have similar challenges in not so long future. So those are the challenges that we were confronted with as a department. And we thought maybe because the burial method is not just to take a grave and then utilize it, maybe we need to sit around educating one another as the residents of Igorule as of how can we maximize the space, how can we be able to utilize alternative burial method. I thought I needed to take that particular picture. Thank you very much.
Still on you, MMC. What are the alternative burial options that we have?
There are multiple burial alternatives available for the residents of Ikuruleni. One, we have what is called the first interment, second interment, and third interment. Meaning a particular family, they come to that particular agreement, they can utilize one grave to bury multiple people. but obviously that is up to the family. It's part of an alternative burial method to preserve the limited space that we have.
The second one, I know is controversial, of which people need to be educated on it again, but everything is upon the family's decision whether they want to go to that particular route or not, of which it is cremation. The cremation is where normally it is being used in Europe and Asian countries, where they put the body in an oven and they preserve the ashes. So it's part of those particular alternative burial method that can be employed by or can be utilized by the residents of the city of Ekurhuleni.
And Sizo, I just want you to come into the one where the different options. What do they mean for our environment?
Thank you. What they mean for our environment, it means we will be saving space for our community in Ekurhuleni, because at least they can bury 3 people in one grave, and then our space can be saved. And for crematorium, that it means also we can save space, because it will be, after a person is being buried by means of ash, of being burned, and the ash will be put in inches, and the inches is the holes where we put the ash. So at least we'll be saving the space, and in that inch it's only 4 people can get in, meaning the ashes, we can put 4 people's ashes in that inch. So we will be at least saving our space.
And
Thanks,
the green option, the green burial option, what is that about?
At the moment, we don't have a green burial option in our city. Maybe that it's been used overseas and so forth. But maybe in the future, we will try and use it when we are more advanced.
Okay. Nduna, so we are saying asina space sokungcwaba abantu anymore. And I want to know from a religious perspective, what are your thoughts about alternative options? I'll touch on the cremation one particularly. Do you think it's something that people will receive with open arms?
Angilungisela ngoNdunankulu ebukhosini ungathi Nduna.
Ndunankulu.
All right.
Ngiyaxolisa baba.
Now NMC kunento esingabantu esikholelwa kuyo. Traditionally so abantu bakithi they believe ukuthi ithambo labo kumele libe la kwazeka khona ukuthi ithambo labo libe kuphi. But now when it comes to indaba ye cremation ukuthi umuntu kaDlamini sekuthiwa nangu cremate ushisiwe sekomlotha. Lo mlotha after sometimes uyaphi. Uyogcwala nje esithubeni. But then makuthiwa umuntu uyathathwa ayotshalwa nabantu bakubo. Traditionally so the person like emakhaya kuwanendawo kuthiwa la is a burial site yakwaDlamini, whereby all bonke abantu from the grannies and everybody will be buried there. Kwaziwa ukuthi lo ujoine abakubo kuphi kuphi. But if to say ukuthi eGauteng noma iGuleni sekuzwa ukuthi no lo uDlamini akasangcwatshwa uyoshiswa uyojoina maphi bapha abantu bakubo. Ngekwesintu is forbidden ukuthi abantu bashiswe. Kodwa I'm just saying ukuthi ziningi indlela singasebenzisa. I don't know ukuthi mhlawumbe ngangena kuzo but
Singasichazela nje kabanzi ukuthi eziphi.
all right. There's what we call, I don't know, bakhona ngizwile ama-undertakers akhona. Repatriation. Umuntu mangibuye KZN, ngihlala nginomuzi la eGoli. Angithathwe ngihambiswe KZN uma kuthi ngishonile. Ngiyongcwatshwa eGoli. Rather i-undertaking ibhadalayo mhlambe i-extend imali ukuthi okay, instead of paying 200 rand a month, then you can pay 220 for repatriation costs. So that umuntu athathwe ayobeka kuphi emakhaya la suka khona angazoshiswa, because emakhaya indawo ziningi. ziningi indawo like thina nje ebukhosini bethu sinendawo everywhere. Empumalanga sinendawo about 30,000 hectares. Umasipala ngale okay siphelelwe indawo, we buy land from you. So that abantu basuse egoli bawenze njani bobe kwende emakhaya. You go to a Free State, zikhona indawo ezi-vacant. You use those spaces. You say, okay, abantu basekuleni, if nize ngomsebenzi la, yes, abantu abaningi sebanemizi la, abanye bazalelwa la, but you know your background. They say, how can you uzowazi kanjani la uyakhona ungazi la usuka khona? If I'm from Free State, my kids must know ukuthi obaba we are Free State from which side of the Free State. So that for in case umntana wami uyashona, then they take that child straight to Free State awungcwatshwa khona than for that person to be cremated. I'm not saying it's wrong to be cremated. It's different cultures and different beliefs. But thina abantu abamnyama we believe ukuthi ithambo lethu kumele silazile kuphi sifake nani ne-tombstone. Yebo.
Yebo.
Yeah, ngazi ke mhlambe
No, ngiyabonga, baba.
Siyabonga.
Talking about different cultures and different beliefs, Bishop, what are your thoughts about this? Ucabangani ngale ndaba lesikhuluma namhlanje?
Le ndaba yanamhlanje yebo yona indaba enkulu njengoba sakhulumile undunankulu kithina sizwe simnyama intsha lento ukuthi abantu bayoshiswa. Mina ngizokubonisa ngami. Mina kwathi ubaba mayishona 1974. Ephumlane makuvula iphumlane I reserve igrave kamama, igrave yami eyonkosikazi wami. Yangibuza ifamily ukuthi why wenza ngalendlela ngathi umama nobaba they've been together since maye kuyoba buhlungu omunye ahambe omunye abekwe Davidton omunye ayobekwe Brakpan.
Yebo.
Ngoba singabantu sinalento ukuthi abantu bethu laba funeke ngesinye isikhathi siyobavakashela. Manje asithi awusena moto. Uyayibona manje lama kilos ozowa travel. Ingakho nga reserve ke indawo engisesenayo namhlanje.
Sizo, this is very interesting. We do have people who do reserve burial space. Is that something that the city still practices, or is it something that we encourage? Considering Uguti, we no longer have space. Can people still do that?
Unfortunately, people can't do that anymore due to the shortage of suitable space. Those who have done it before, yes, their space is still available. But also those who don't want their space because they move maybe from Ekurhuleni, maybe overseas or to KZN or Limpopo, they can still maybe sell that space or that grave that they've bought to the family or to the neighbor or back to the council. Thank you.
Thank you. Minesh, do you want to just give us what are your thoughts about this topic?
It's difficult. So, because it comes to traditions, so our family's been in the funeral industry for the last 65 years. So I'm a second generation funeral director as well, and we've seen that we run out of space. The whole issue is that we don't have enough crematoriums in Ekurhuleni that are operational. I think we have 2 crematoriums that are part of Ekurhuleni's council, and both are not operational at the moment. So that's a big issue for us as Hindus, because we have to travel out to Johannesburg and stuff like that. So the crematoriums need to be up and running. When it comes to cremation as well, if you go back to religion, if you go back to the Catholic Church, they never allowed cremations until the 80s. So the only way because we're running out of space, we need to find the alternative. And if you're going to use cremation as an alternative, we need to get the clergy involved. If the clergy gets involved, because they are the ones that can talk to the congregations and tell the congregations, is it right or is it not right? Certain families still believe in their traditions, but some people with the younger generations maybe are changing. We're becoming more westernized in our thoughts. So maybe that's one way of getting the clergy involved. And the clergy talks and says, you know what, we are running out of space. Because as well as the leader has said, on that side, is it to travel into another province, is it's a cost factor. People live in these areas. They want to be buried in these areas. They can't travel. Some families do come from out of the provinces, so it'll make life easier for them.
Yeah.
But the ones that have home here, and we've seen people that the roots, they come from other provinces, settle down roots, and maybe the parents will go back, but the youngsters are here now, and we'd be more funerals locally. So we need the alternatives. And like your issue with the Katoris area is maybe I like that idea. Maybe we could talk to a Lesedi, which is on the border. I know we're doing funerals out of those areas. We're going to drive to Meyerton, where people are paying the out of area instead of coming all the way to Van Dijk. Because it's a distance. Because families need to go, they need to come back, they need to spend time together. A funeral is a function today.
Yes.
So I think we need to look at, if we're going to put these crematoriums, we need a crematorium on the south. But the biggest issue with the crematoriums is maintaining them. Is that after those furnaces come up and they put up those crematoriums, we need to make sure there's proper SLAs in place to maintain. We've had state-of-the-art crematorium furnaces put in, and what's happened over the years, because of no proper SLAs, they neglect, and then what happens, we start cannibalizing from one furnace to the other furnace to operate, and then after all, none are working. So we need to make sure that there's a proper SLA, because we need crematoriums. We as the Hindu community are really suffering at the moment, and if you look at it, is that majority of our white clientele now are cremating.
Yeah.
Majority of our white clientele, especially before it was majority burial as well, but they've changed over to cremation because the same thing in your thing, you talk about safety, you talk about all of these things. And, but I believe that we can come up with a solution. And also the other thing is that if you get somebody like a celebrity or a politician that gets cremated, it forms a trend. Because we in the industry, we've seen that, and then automatically you sell it. And the community, the council needs to make sure they put it out there. That we are running out of space, because we as funeral directors, and Mr. Adam will see, is that we're the messenger. In the funeral industry, we're the messenger, because we're the messenger between Ekurhuleni City Parks and the clients out there. Because things will change, and what happens, there's no notice going out to the community. There's no press release, no radio ads. Prices go up, everything else is. When the families come to us, we've got to be the custodian of passing this message on. Thank you.
MMC, Manesh is speaking about the importance of engagement, having the clergy involved, just community participation. What is the city doing to engage the residents as well as funeral parlors? Has there been any kind of engagement taking place?
Thank you, Gilabogile. Yes, the city from time to time is having those kind of engagement with the residents of Ekurhuleni. It might not be precisely, or it would have not been precisely on the issue of alternative burial method. But this kind of discussion have for over years been taking place. One of it yearly, the IDP processes, where the city will be speaking about like the tariffs. And for sometimes we pride ourselves with it to say for so many years we haven't increased the tariffs, burial tariffs around the city. But he is correct when he's speaking about taking or maintaining the resources that would make cremation possible. Is one of the shortfalls or where we are lacking from our side, but I think it's something that we can work on. But I would like to touch on some of the things that Ondabezitha earlier on has spoken about, the issue of saying, there are certain things that we do not believe that we can be able to. That's one of the reasons we are saying we thought it proper to have a round table. No one is going to be forced to actually practice some sort of a culture that is not his. But we are saying currently these are the challenges that the city is facing. And part of the solution can be 1, 2, and 3. Minesh is speaking about something. Something might be my culture, but might not be Minesh's culture.
Correct.
Minesh is seeing it to be something that is wicked. And he further gave us some sort of numbers to say a white clientele is moving in that particular direction of cremation. It's one of those things that we really need to have open mind about it and have that particular discussion. Reality of the matter is that the population of Ekurhuleni is growing, and is growing exponentially. Just a few years ago, round about, not even 10 years ago, we were sitting at around 3.5 million. As we are currently, we are sitting at around 4.1 million, headed for, I don't know how many. And the land is not growing, by the way. And the kind of challenges that we are learning something out of our neighboring cities. I hear you are saying maybe we need to speak to our neighboring municipalities like Lesedi and Midval. But the fact of the matter is that our neighbors in Joburg, they are utilizing our burial space, but at a cost. We charge them, it's not for free, it's part of those things that the city is doing. So we need to look into those particular things. I also hear your point, and Abezita, when you're speaking about if you still have a homestead emakaya, maybe for us to assist the city, it will be to look into those kind of possibilities. It is one of those progressive proposal, but the reality of the matter is that it has financial implication, and we know our people, most of them are having it financially hard. So it's one of those things, maybe Bob Adams on the other side, when you are doing your packages, maybe you need to also include to say, maybe the long distance, or the people that will be buried outside the borders of Gauteng, maybe the package would be some, it might be one of those things that will work. Finally, the issue of promoting this other alternative method. I believe ourselves as a department, as a division, Parks and Cemetery, and yourself as communication department of the city, we can do much better in this regard, because our people at times, all that they need to do is just to get that particular awareness,
Yes.
so that they can be aware of their environment and what is happening around the environment. We are telling you that if it is not going to be attended in time, in few years' time is going to be a crisis. I will make sure, and Usizo at the other time, I'm coming from the south myself, so most of my experiences I'll be drawing it from the south, to say such a huge townships like Togoza, it has grown. Fosloras, Katlehong, and all the extensions. Now we have your Sky Cities, we have our Palm Ridge, the area has grown, but we are all flowing to Van Dyke, because Kromfle is no longer usable due to geotechnical issues where there's issues of underground water. Thomas and Kobe, it has been overutilized. But one other thing, by the way, maybe ourselves as the political principal is something that we need to really look into. The issue of the population growth in the city of Ekurhuleni. Maybe our planning is not aligned with other services as well, because we can tell you that here now in terms of cemetery we're having these challenges, but in other departments as well we can see a misalignment here and there, precisely because the population is, and we are not even speaking about those that will be immigrating from outside the province. We are speaking about the growth of the city. Now when you go everywhere around our townships, you are always getting your extensions. You go to in the north Tembisa, you have your the other extensions. You go to Davidton, they have their new extensions, or Crystal Parks and all those other areas. So it's one of those things that we need to really look into in our planning. Maybe we can find a correct solution. I thought I needed to touch on those. Sorry for taking much of your time. Thanks.
No, MMC, thank you so much. Mr. Adams, so MMC said this is not a forced alternative option, but we also spoke about population growth. Are funeral parlors actually ready to assist us as a city?
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, the funeral parlors, as alluded by my colleague, they're just the messenger between two. But what we've done at most parlors, we have that repatriation clause in. But you find you selling a 1 plus 9, and then there's only one person that will be repatriated when it's due for that. The rest of the 9 will be buried here. And if you compare the two figures, 9 is a lot of people that will be buried in Gauteng. So if we say the repatriation is a thing, you're looking at the cost implications in that, but it's doable. Because as we know, if a member comes to us to join our schemes, that is one question that's there. Repatriation, yes. How much you got, then you add the figure there. When it gets to the total, I can't afford. That is so it's a money issue on repatriation. But not that. It has to come from the powers that be, which is the politicians. They have to push that narrative that repatriation is the only way forward because the city don't have space. And make it a bit, the funeral is quite expensive to do it here. I don't know how you're going to do it more expensive and give us a very low rate to take you to Makaya. Those are the things that we have to look into. Thank you.
I'm still on this point of alternatives. When I come in and a loved one has passed, do you assist, maybe give us different options? Like, for example, if I'm taking a policy, do you say, "Ke lebohile, I've got a policy where you can be cremated, I've got this kind," or is it something that it's a conversation that we only start having when I've lost a loved one?
No, so that is an ongoing communication, because you start it from the day that the client moves into your office to take out the burial scheme. And then you complete them, because we have a special application form. If I say we, I'm talking about some undertakers. They always meet and say, let's restructure the application form. So we don't say, I don't talk about me, I'm talking about undertakers. So you have that option that say, a repatriation. Where will you be buried?
Yes.
And how far is it? Those distances will be acknowledged by the client. But when it comes to a cash funeral, when the member gets into your office, then you give him the most expensive one and the most cheapest one, which means the cheapest one is the one for the repatriation, because Gauteng is more expensive than here.
Okay.
But people don't want, it's the old people that will go home, not these younger ones. They will be buried here. Thanks.
Sizo, talking about cost effective, are the alternative options a little bit cheaper? We know how the economy looks like. So are they cheaper? Is it something that we could use to entice Kilebohile and say, Kilebohile, actually, instead of having 10 people coming to your funeral, we can have a small ceremony. Is it cost effective, other ones?
Yeah, thanks, Kilebohile. Yes, the burial for second and third intermediates, it's cheaper. If I can maybe indicate when maybe the first time intermediate is done, it's 2.648 for the residents of Ekurhuleni. And then the second intermediate, it's 1,497. You can see that there's a difference. And then the third intermediate will be 1,279. And again, it differs according to cemeteries categories. Like we've got category A, B, C. So also it will differ according to that. And furthermore, it will differ according to lawn section.
Okay.
Lawn section is where you just bury, you don't put the headstone. So it will be cheaper. And thirdly, going further to crematorium, it's much more cheaper than the interments or the normal burial that we are used to. Thanks.
Thank you. So, Gokmatha, ngifuna ukubuza. Usisezo is talking about multiple burial, meaning, General Bishop asho ukuthi sometimes we might even have an option where I don't know what burial is in Zulu. Bangcwabela. Sorry. So Mamatha, njengoba usisenzo asho ukuthi sina option yokuthi singcwabe abantu maybe by 3 phezu kwabanye. What is your view on that? Uzizwa kanjani? Ucanga ukuthi into esingayamukela njengabahlali?
Bana ka ha mme a buile nna ne ke sa itse gore se se go boloka batho ba i3 mo mokoting e one. Re sa gola e ne le 6 feet down.
Yeah.
Yaanong ha kutlwa ba re ke 8 feet. Ho accommodate gore o ka boloka batho ba i3. Nna mo ke shapela matsogo because le ntho ya go tshisa a kutlwane le yona. Ke ile ka utla ka lena matsatsi ba bua ba re gona le upper level burial.
Okay.
Then ka re ha ke utlwisise upper level burial ke e byang ha ba ntlhalosetse. Ke ga ba ntlhalosetsa ba re lo jiwa ke manonkwa. Ya nna re open ke a ithabela gore go boloka o mo le modima o mo le o mo modima o mo, because of what? Ke di memories tsa rona tsa go ya ko mabitleng ha re bele letlapa moraitse ke di memories tsa rona. Nna ke kgolela mo re open. Ke kgolela mo bona upper level le lona I like it. But ke batla re ba ntlhalosetse pila gore ha ke ya ko dimo kwa le ke iswa ke eng kwa.
Sisenzo, upper level ke eng? Tlhalosetsa nkgono Matha. Re na le yona option eo.
We don't have it here in our Ekurhuleni, or I can say in the Gauteng. We don't use it so much. It was using in the olden days, where maybe neba aha something like in Klunden Hamutu a tshwantse a bolokwe, and then they put them there. Others they used to put them in the river on top of the maybe wood, and then they light it, something like that. But it used to be done mostly in the olden days.
And Nkhono Mathas is mentioning something very interesting. I know gore they would say 6 feet underground. So now we're talking about 8. So if it happens that my grandmother was buried in the 70s and it was 6 feet and I want to be buried on top of her, is that a viable option? Would the city accommodate my request?
Okay, thank you, Lebohile. Yes, we can accommodate it, but because from the beginning it used to be 6 feet. Now it's 8 feet since I think beginning of 2012 till now. So those maybe were buried before then, they can do the first and second intermit. And then those who, since we've started the 8 feet, then they can bury 3. But even the others that we have buried 6, they can still bury 3, because we are guided by NEMA Act to say when you bury a person, how many meters should you leave when you are burying a person on top.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Kare Nkhono Matha has a follow-up?
Ke a leboga, ke arabegile. Ke leboga go menagane. Mara potso ya ka ke gore mama o tla ntlhalosetsa re kopana le mathata ko mabitleng
Eh.
a magolo. Ga o ya ko mabitleng o re o ya ko officing o re o lo sheba motlhomong o latlhile number
Eh.
ka gore ga re kgone di gopola re le kaofela akere.
Eh.
O kry family e nngwe e ko Durban kwa ha ba re batla number ha re kry. The solution ke gore o ye ko officing o lo batla number. Ya no kry re motho ha ngwalwa mo motho o fitla ko mabiteng ha record ko di bukeng.
MMC, would you like to take that one? Where we are looking maybe for somebody who was buried has kuman and re batla go itse gore mabitla ga a ko kae and we can't find it. How do we assist our residents?
No, thank you, Lebogile. The cemetery division has to have that particular record. I know in Togoza Skoman, I think they're doing that on Thursdays and Fridays. If I know, there are certain days, Wednesdays, there are certain days where they dedicated to assisting people to retrace their graves. But it has to be something that the families, if they're having challenges, they need to take it through the relevant offices within the cemetery division. But if they are still experiencing challenges, my office is still open. They can come to my office as well or raise it with me. I'll gladly raise it with CISO so that we assist those kind of families, because it can be that we know in our African culture that Itunya is something that you can't just let it go. You're gonna have to retrace it. So yeah, if they're having issues, we do have dedicated staff that are working with those things. But if they are experiencing challenges, they can raise it with our office. Thanks.
No, ke lebogile. Mama, I just want to come to Imran. We've had a mouthful. We all agree that burial is a very sacred practice. What is your thought about alternative options? Is it something that the community would welcome?
Thank you. The thing here is you must also remember it comes down to the culture of the individual. We as Muslims are forbidden to do a cremation. That is why we do burials. Also, the other thing is we have encouraged our people to start doing reburials, and it's happening at the moment. And that is helping us on our section where we can save on space. But like I said, according to the culture, whatever the culture, when it comes to the reburial or when it comes to the cremation side, unfortunately, we are forbidden to do that. The other culture that does it, I think it's, in a way, it's saving space. It's going to help the community as well to, especially with space-wise.
Yes.
And that is one of the great things that's happening, especially amongst the Hindu community. I mean, they've been doing it for many, many years. It's their culture.
MMC, we're talking about culture and practice. I do believe that the city has a policy that accommodates certain religions. Do you want to touch on that aspect a bit?
No, thank you very much. City of Ekurhuleni, like we are part of South Africa, like united in our own diversity. And we have multiple different cultures, like Mr. Imran has just said here, that the Hindus have a history of actually following up that particular culture of cremation. And in his own culture, they are forbidden. In terms of Islamic religion, they are forbidden from cremation. Same goes when the visitor earlier on, he has mentioned it to say in African culture, you can't just, and I think in the main is one of those things that there's no consensus around it, but we are saying it is upon the individual or family's culture. If they are comfortable in actually going that route, they are. By the way, the issue of second interment and third interment were met with resistance from the onset, by the way. But I'm glad now, now the panel seems to be having a consensus and understanding to say it is a better option compared to the other. We are saying, and we're using this particular argument to say, in our culture, it can be that we bury two people in one grave. But over the years, as it has been practiced, maybe with the assistance of communicating it, making people aware of it, and the issue of actually running out of a burial space, people ended up actually warming up to it, embracing it, and actually utilizing it, because now people are understanding that we don't have a burial site. Otherwise, some of those things, lento undabezitha bekayikhuluma earlier on to say moya emakhaya uthola ukuthi la kula kunqaba khona abantu bakaManamela in this particular space. So now they understand ukuthi uzothola one ubuSkumane, Kromfle, the other one is elsewhere, of which some people they also don't feel comfortable around it. So we are saying, indeed, maybe we need to look into the issue of making people aware or having an awareness campaign or awareness drive, just to highlight this particular issue so that our resident of Ekurhuleni can understand that we are having a crisis before we are going to turn into the resident of Joburg. Residents of Joburg, they don't have space and it's expensive to bury in Joburg. That's the reason they come to Ekurhuleni. And then they are paying the fees that we as the people of Ekurhuleni will think that they are unreasonable. But because of the price and non-space in Joburg, they resort to come here. So we don't want to find ourselves in that particular space. We will look into actually expanding and getting other land, but the reality of the matter is that the population is growing. We don't have enough land. We will do our best in terms of doing it. Coming back to the issue of culture, no one is going to be forced or will ever be forced to actually practice a culture that is not his. If rona ha Manamela re believela hore motho tlamehile a ye fase 6 down, it's no longer 6, it's 8 down. We are not going to be convinced otherwise or not unless we have been educated around that, and is a family position to say we don't see a problem. We understand the position of the city with the issue of lack of a burial site. We can do cremation, but no one will ever coerce against their will to do something that is not there. But it is important to be honest and to play our cards open to say, with the challenges we're confronted with, these are the options. Some might not be liked. Like we have said, the different interments were met with resistance, but now it is starting to be embraced. Maybe, who knows, people will understand that it's a serious issue of a lack of land. We'll do the repatriation. If it is too expensive and people are agreeing to it, the other alternative will be cremation or that third interment as well. Thank you very much.
Tabiso, so MMC is even saying that we do have residents from other municipalities coming to the city for burial. How do we navigate to ensure the free flow of traffic? Where do I go if I need an escort?
Okay, thank you, Kaylee. First and foremost, the residents or the affected families, you go to your nearest CCC around our offices. We've got offices in all the regions, which are 3 regions. It's your south, it's your north, and it's your eastern region. So if it happens that you happen to you are a Captain Park, you reside in Captain Park, then you come to our offices, where the director is deployed there. Then there's a form that you fill in, which is you do 2 days within a week. If you say now the burial will be on a Saturday, with that form, it's the particulars, the address, and an estimation of how many vehicles will be there at the funeral. So with the charge, it comes with a charge, which is 1,500. Well, yeah, 1,500. In the past, it used to be free, but now we charge a fee of 1,500, and then and then you also give us the times. We then deploy officers and also our traffic wardens that get deployed at the points to control the procession and the traffic. So, yeah.
Is there some kind of relationship that we have with funeral parlors like Mr. Adams?
Not really, because this is done through the family. It's the family and it's us. So ours will be only when we are actually escorting the process. So that's where we help with the undertakers, because then it's the control of traffic and at the points where we've deployed the traffic wardens.
Mr. Adams, our slogan says a partnership that works. I'm just very curious. How do we ensure that our residents are safe when they are going to their final resting place? Do you perhaps have a suggestion maybe where if you are in Tembisa, you can assist those residents to get escort from the city? Because safety is a factor.
Yeah, thank you, Program Director. I think what should happen is liaise with the undertaker concerning the times and the traffic flow.
Okay.
Because it's no need the family goes to the municipality to arrange times. Family arrange times that is suitable for them.
Yes.
So the undertaker is the best person because he must know exactly what is the departure time from point A to point B. But they don't. They deal with the undertakers, and when the metro cops come, they have to run because they have to come back. Now, that's a problem for undertakers because they said, we are taking our loved ones. But the undertaker is too fast. They don't say metro is too fast.
Okay.
They say the undertaker drives too fast. But the undertaker has to hold now the space of the car in front of them. So these things is the things that we say partnership. As much as EkuPodcast want let us do the booking of graves, which is not part of us.
Okay.
Then they should also say to you, the family should also come. If you need traffic escort,
yes.
speak to your undertaker to come and fill in the form and liaise with us. Then you can hold us accountable if we jump a robot. But you can't hold us accountable if you jump a robot because your guys are, and then we miss you on the roads. So that is one of the things. But it is a partnership, as you said.
Yes, it's a partnership.
The more we engage each other on funerals, the best way and the easiest way is it for all of us. But we must never forget we are serving a community.
Yes, definitely.
And if Mfundis hold me with 5 minutes, I'll be late. And where's the late coming home? We'll speak about that one. It's not now. It's not on the
Yes,
agenda now.
it will be a
We'll
topic
get
for
there.
another day.
Yes.
Yes.
No, for later in the program. Thank you.
All right, so I'm just going to open the floor for a discussion. How do we balance culture, religion, but also taking environmental health factors into consideration? Because as I'm sitting here, I'm now wondering, where is my last resting place going to be? Bishop, sibajela kanjani abantu basesontweni ukuthi we don't have space, but we need to come with a solution.
Ngiyabonga mphathi uhlelo. Lento singabafundisi siyayikhuluma emasontweni. siyabatshela amalunga wesonto ukuthi niyabona kwanda abantu, population is growing every day, and indawo ze-burial ziyazincipha. Uva ngithi mina ngibonga nje lokho kuhlakanipha kwafika ngaloyo nyaka ukuthi ngireserve indawo for my parents and myself. Kodwa ngathi kubantwana anginazi niyophelelaphi ngoba nisakhula, mhlawumbe umuntu uyosebenza eCape Town, ayinothi mawushonile eCape Town ngikulande ngizokubeka la. So uzawungcwatshwa la ukhona. Emabandleni inkinga esihlangana nayo ke ebantwini, njengoba indaba ezithi asashilo ukuthi singabantu, kunaleli hlelo labantu ukuthi thina sikholwa ukuthi umuntu ithambo lethu lela.
Yebo.
Manje mawuza ke kule ye-cremation, masiye eBhayibhelini, iBhayibheli lithulile nge-cremation. Lithulile nge-cremation. Yebo bakhona abashiswa, but alikhulumi ukuthi kulungile noma akulunganga. Manje abantu ke njengoba singabantu, that's why kusafuneke sifundise abantu ukuthi nayo ayisinkinga kodwa kuphuma kumndeni.
Yebo. Yes.
If the family baya agree, agreement yabo iyeza ukuthi no, thina sikhetha ukuthi ke family yami yaseSoweto, the whole house baqala ubaba kwezumama bakhetha ukuthi nobona abayocremate. We did that.
Yes.
Bawuthatha umlotha subekile usilence. What those families.
Yes.
Mine abantwana nabo, but no, cremation it's cheaper and asina nesikhathi sokuthi funeka uyofaka amatshe manje nimngcwabile funeka futhi kwenza umsebenzi wokufaka ilitshe.
Yes.
Manje mina ngendlela engisebenza ngayo, mina mangcwaba today nelitshe ngilifaka today.
Okay.
Ngani ngoba njengoba sikhuluma nge 6 feet down, siba nenkinga ngoba bona benza one size. Ngithenge i-casket, mangifika lapha ayingeni. Funeka manje siqale sisebenze futhi ke manje
Yeah.
for kuzolingana le casket. Mina ngiyaphakathi kweviki ukuthi ngizongcwaba and ngisebenza nge-casket and ngakha ngestina from pants ngikhuphuke nalo up to the grave level.
Yes.
And mangifika lo muntu engizombeka ngiyavala. Umhlabathi awuhlali phezu kwebhokisi ngifika ngivale, umhlabathi uzawuhlala phezu kwalesivalo engivale ngaso. Indlela engisebenza ngayo.
Okay. Siyabonga baba. MMC, we're now wrapping up. Any last message to our residents just to also try to explore and look into this conversation that we are having?
No, thank you very much. Before, I just want to touch on the issue that as the city of Ekurhuleni, we do not discriminate against any tradition or culture. As long as it meets the minimum requirement in terms of a National Environmental Management Act, you will be assisted to. I remember at some stage in the visit, khona abantu abangcwaba ngo-12 ebusuku. Those are isolated cases, but because they followed each and every process in terms of requesting that and proving that is part of their culture to do so, we gladly assisted them. So hence we are saying, as the city of Ekurhuleni, we are united in our diversity. We do not discriminate against anyone, black, white, pink, or any other race or any other culture. You will be accommodated. But one of the things that maybe we do not say that or we do not speak about them that enough, Sizo, it is the appreciation that we need to really pass to our undertakers that are operating within our space, as well as the cleric community, abafundisi and the undertakers. The kind of work that they're doing is not being applauded enough because we understand the kind of logistical preparation that needs to be put in when we are having those kind. Motho o tlo a le tsietsing by that time. Someone happened to be in trouble at that particular time, doesn't know what to touch, what to do, but through the undertakers and the ability to move around on behalf of the family, they're making things easier for them.
True.
So that they can come through that particular day and do what needs to be done. As well as the clery, by comforting the family, we know is one of those, when you're having a funeral at home, if you are not going to approach things on a calm and sober mind, too many families end up even fighting, and that particular event end up not taking place or taking place under difficult circumstances. But abafundisi, that there was that are making sure that those families actually they see through they see through that particular day and everything goes smooth in that particular way. But last and not least, I think this is one of the issues that from time to time we really need to sit around the table, discuss about it, as of how best can we approach it. Because from where I'm seated, it's not that those other methods are being rejected. The issue is that the issue of education behind it or awareness behind it. But the reality of the matter is that we need to understand that the land availability is an issue in the city of Ekurhuleni.
Yes.
And with the lack of land or burial land in the city of Ekurhuleni, it is pushing us to do unprecedented thing. No one ever thought that we will, to start with, the issue of different internment. Ideally, everyone must get his own grave, and then you put the tomb there with the name also, so that though I'm an African, I'm more on an African culture. From time to time, when I want to go and visit a grave, I know through this tomb, this is where I'm coming from. But now, we understood that we are having this challenge. People ended up understanding it. They are warming up to different kind of internment. We are not saying it should be the way to go, but it's some of those issues that we really need to speak about it. The issue of cremation, the issue of repatriation, as Ndabezitha has said, and we understand that it has cost implications in it, is one of those things that really need to be spoken about. Or maybe we don't know, through you, CISO, with your NEMA, we need to also look at expanding the different internment. If we think that the three internment are not adequate enough in terms of trying to preserve the space that we are having, maybe we need to look into it, obviously subject to all those regulations if they are there. I thought I needed to touch on those particular things. But we promise that we will do better. Promise to the people of Ekurhuleni that we will try to speak more about this issue. And one thing I like about, you may find out that some of them are the ones that are having solutions to this kind of a problem.
Yes.
Maybe next time we need to have quite a number of them that can also have an engagement with ourselves, because we can't be claiming to know everything or to have all the answers. At times, the citizens are the ones that are actually going to show us a light to say maybe the city has to look into this particular direction in order to address the challenges it is confronted. Our people are very, very dynamic, they are very creative, they are very innovative, so we need to open up for them in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, MMC. And that brings us to the end of our discussion. To our panelists, thank you so much for such a fruitful conversation. Ekurhuleni, you heard it here first. The city is facing a very challenging but complex topic of balancing faith, culture, religion, and considering communities' needs. I hope today's episode sparks further conversation and understanding. Until next time, take care.
Other alternative burial options that we have.